My name is Lila Archer, and I'm 32 years old. I was born into a world of privilege, the daughter of a wealthy real estate mogul who made his fortune with grit and ruthlessness. I've always felt like the outsider in my own family, overshadowed by my older sister, Caroline. She's everything my parents wanted me to be: confident, poised, and successful. Meanwhile, I've always been the emotional one, the dreamer, the one who could never fit perfectly into the family's cold, calculated world. My relationship with Caroline has always been strained, but it's never been more unbearable than it is now. I never thought I'd be fighting my own sister for control of our father's legacy, but here I am, in the middle of a war I never wanted. And this war? It's only just beginning. I don't know if I'll win, but I do know one thing for sure. When the truth about our father's will is revealed, it will destroy everything. And I'll be the one holding the pieces. The courtroom is eerily quiet. The only sound is the steady tapping of the court stenographer's fingers on her keyboard, transcribing every word as if this moment could decide the fate of the world. Caroline stands before the judge, her back straight, her chin lifted. Her lawyer, a slick and polished man with a sharp jawline, leans in beside her, whispering confidently, feeding her every word. "I'll take half of everything," Caroline declares, her voice cold and unfeeling, like she's ordering a drink at a bar, "including the $10 million estate you inherited from your father." The room gasps, the murmurs rolling through the air like a storm on the horizon. I feel the weight of every stare, every judgment, pressing down on me like 1,000 pounds. Caroline's eyes glint with satisfaction as she surveys the room, already assuming she's won. But she doesn't know what I know. No one does. I stand up, my legs slightly unsteady, not from fear, but from the rising fury inside me. My hand reaches for the briefcase at my side. The leather is warm under my fingertips as I pull out a single brown envelope, light but heavy with the truth. I walk to the bench, my movements deliberate, like I'm about to deliver the final blow in a battle I've been waging for far too long. The room falls silent, everyone's eyes on me. I don't look at Caroline. I don't need to. She's already counting her victory in her head. She's already planning how to take everything from me. The judge looks at me, eyebrow raised. "Ms. Archer." "Check again, Your Honor," I say, my voice steady, controlled. The judge takes the envelope from me, his eyes flickering with curiosity. He opens it slowly, scanning the pages inside. His face shifts, his brow furrows, then his eyes widen. A smile forms on the judge's lips, but it's not a pleasant one. He looks up at Caroline, then back at the documents, and then he laughs. A sharp, piercing laugh that slices through the room like a blade. The sound echoes off the walls, loud enough that I almost want to wince. Caroline's face drains of color. Her expression falters, just for a moment, before she composes herself. But the damage is done. The court is no longer on her side. They can see it in her face. They can see the lies starting to unravel. Caroline's smile falters, her carefully constructed facade beginning to crack. I don't give her a second glance as I walk back to my seat. I won't let her have what's mine. Not now, not ever. "Ms. Archer," the judge says, his voice steady but sharp, like a knife being pulled from its sheath. "It seems we have a lot to discuss. This isn't over." Caroline's lawyer stands up, looking as if the ground beneath him is crumbling. "This is a mistake. These documents can't be real." But I know what's coming. I know what's been hidden for far too long. And when the truth comes out, Caroline won't be the only one facing the consequences. The stakes have just risen. And this is only the beginning. I don't know how much longer I can keep my composure. My heart is pounding in my chest, the thudding echoing in my ears. The truth is now in the open, but there's more to uncover. The world is closing in on me, and the worst part? I still don't know who I can trust. Caroline's eyes burn into the back of my head as I sit down. I feel her anger seething, but I won't give her the satisfaction of seeing my fear. But the truth is this: the war is far from over. This is just one battle in a much bigger game. And it's only a matter of time before everything we've built, everything I've worked for, starts to crumble. I know that now. I can feel it. And the only question left is, who will be standing when it all falls down? You thought you were winning, Henry said, his voice a whisper. But Caroline's already 5 steps ahead of you. The tension in the courtroom still lingers in my mind as I walk out into the cold sunlight. My steps are quick, but my head is swirling. The sounds of the city blend together: distant honking, the clatter of footsteps, the hum of life, all muted by the chaos in my own mind. Caroline's mocking laugh echoes in my head. "Check again, Your Honor." I can hear it like a warning bell, an omen that this war is far from over. I'm in no mood for distractions. The walls seem to be closing in on me, even now. My fingers tighten around the envelope in my hand, the one that had turned the entire court upside down. Inside it is the document, the one that could expose everything. It's the file from Samira Patel, the private investigator I hired the moment I felt the ground shift beneath my feet. I never should have trusted Caroline. I should have known. But the will, it was her idea, her design, and I had let her sell me on it. I should have asked more questions. "You always trust too easily," my father used to tell me. "The world isn't as kind as you think it is." I didn't listen. Now I'm paying for it. I pull my phone out of my bag, dialing Samira's number. She picks up after 2 rings. Her voice is calm, but I can hear the urgency beneath it. "I've got something. Meet me at the usual spot." I hang up without a word. She's always been precise, efficient. I don't have time to waste on pleasantries anymore. The cafe smells like stale coffee and melted sugar, the murmur of conversation blending with the clink of cups and saucers. I spot Samira in the corner, her dark hair tucked neatly into a tight ponytail, her eyes scanning the room. She's already studying the documents in front of her, like she's read them 1,000 times, searching for the one thing I haven't seen yet. I walk over and sit down without speaking. Samira slides the file across the table. "It's worse than we thought," she says, her voice barely above a whisper. "Caroline has been transferring funds from the estate into offshore accounts for months. The documents are clean, but the transactions tell another story." I flip through the file, my heart sinking further with every page. This isn't just a case of manipulation. It's financial fraud, tax evasion, and something much darker. Caroline's fingerprints are all over it. I knew she was lying, but this is something else. I run my fingers over the papers, my mind racing. How did she get away with this for so long? Samira leans in, her expression hard. "It's not just Caroline. There are others involved, people you never would have suspected. The timing of some of these transfers. It's no coincidence." I freeze. "What do you mean?" She pauses before answering. "The money started moving after your father's will was read. But it wasn't just Caroline's signature on the documents. There are other names here, names you've never heard of." The room seems to close in around me. I push the file aside, feeling the walls press in. My hands tremble. This is bigger than I thought. If this leaks, it'll destroy everything. My family's legacy. My father's reputation. And Caroline? She's playing a dangerous game, and I'm the one who's been left in the dark. I need to know everything. I head straight to the office, my mind ablaze. The elevator ride up feels like an eternity. Every second is a reminder of how much is at stake. Every second, I feel the weight of the file burning a hole in my bag. Inside the office, I tell my assistant to pull up everything related to the estate's finances. Every record, every email, every transfer. The truth is buried somewhere in the mess. I need it all. As I wait for the files to load, my phone rings. It's Henry Calloway, my lawyer. "Lila," he says, his voice tight, "we need to talk about the next steps. The evidence you brought to court today. It's a game changer, but there's something you need to know." My pulse quickens. What is it? I think you're being watched. I freeze. What are you talking about? I've been getting calls, anonymous ones, and I've noticed some odd activity in the office. Things I don't want to bring up just yet. Someone's keeping an eye on you. I don't say anything. My mind races. Every worst-case scenario flashing through my head. I'm being followed. They're closing in on me. Lila, listen to me, Henry says, his voice urgent. I know you don't want to hear this, but we need to take extra precautions. If we're going to win this, we need to know exactly who's working against you. I hang up, feeling the blood drain from my face. I can hear the buzz of fluorescent lights above me. The weight of the room seems to grow heavier by the second. Someone is watching me, and they've been watching me for far longer than I realized. I take a deep breath, forcing myself to focus. It's getting harder to trust anyone. I need to think. I need to get ahead of this before Caroline, and whoever else is involved, beats me to the finish line. The minutes tick by, and the files are finally loaded. As I flip through them, one name keeps appearing, Nolan Brooks. He's listed as an advisor for the estate, a financial consultant with access to everything. The name doesn't ring a bell, but it should. I click through more documents. I can't afford to miss anything. Then I find it. A note from Nolan. A meeting scheduled with Caroline a week before the will was read. The note subject, the next phase. My hands stop. The walls close in. The pieces are falling into place. And I know the truth. I'm not just fighting Caroline. I'm fighting something much darker. I close the file. The room feels colder now. I've underestimated this fight. You thought you were winning, Henry said, his voice a whisper. But Caroline's already 5 steps ahead of you. I wish I had listened. I'm sitting at my desk, the world outside the office window blurred by a steady stream of rain. The drops hit the glass with a rhythmic patter, matching the pounding in my head. Caroline's words from the courtroom still echo in my mind, and the weight of the brown envelope I handed the judge still feels heavy in my hands. The documents inside had turned the entire trial upside down, but that was only the beginning. I could feel the ground shifting beneath me, and it wasn't just Caroline's betrayal that I needed to worry about anymore. There were deeper layers to this mess, things I couldn't have imagined, things I was only starting to uncover. I've always been the dreamer, the one who thought I could make it on my own, but the truth is, I've been blind. You can't trust anyone, they say, but I never thought it would be my own sister who would break me. I run my fingers through my hair, trying to push the thoughts aside. The envelope sits on the desk in front of me, a small symbol of the chaos I've stepped into. I flip it open, scanning through the documents again. Nothing new stands out at first, but then, buried in the final pages, I find something that makes my breath catch in my throat. There, in black and white, is a name I never expected to see. Nolan Brooks. I pause, rereading the name. Nolan, the financial consultant who worked closely with my father, the one who was supposed to have helped manage the estate, someone my father trusted implicitly. I don't remember him being in any of the family meetings, but his name keeps coming up in the documents Caroline had been so careful to conceal. How deep does this go? I lean back in my chair, the air in the room suddenly feeling thick, suffocating. Caroline wasn't just after money. This was about control, about dismantling everything my father built, tearing down every foundation he set in place, piece by piece. The sharp ring of my phone pulls me out of my thoughts. It's Samira. Lila, she says, her voice tight, almost urgent. We've got a problem. What is it? I ask, already bracing myself for more bad news. I've been digging. I got a hold of some more records. The ones you need. You're not going to like what I found. I sit up straighter, my pulse quickening. What do you mean? There's a second set of transactions, ones that weren't flagged by the original auditor. Smaller amounts, but they're tied to someone else. Who? I demand, my hand shaking as I hold the phone to my ear. Someone you wouldn't expect. Nolan Brooks. The name hits me like a punch to the gut. I close my eyes, my head spinning. This isn't a coincidence. I know it. Wait, I managed to say. Nolan was part of my father's circle. He was trusted. Why would he? I don't know yet, but there's more. I need you to trust me, Lila. I found something big. Something I think Caroline's been keeping hidden for a long time. I stand up abruptly, the room tilting slightly as I steady myself against the desk. Where are you? I'm sending you the address. It's urgent. Get here now. We need to talk. I hang up without another word, my thoughts scattered. I grab my coat and my bag, rushing toward the elevator. The building's lobby feels colder than usual, emptier. There's a strange chill in the air, like I'm being watched. The drive feels endless, the city blurring by as I push the car faster, willing the seconds to stretch. I can't shake the feeling that something is off, that this moment, the one I've been pushing toward, will shatter everything I thought I knew. Samira's office is in a quiet, unassuming building at the edge of town. I pull into a space and glance around, expecting the usual quiet, but something's wrong. The street's empty, the windows of the building dark. I hesitate, my hand on the door. But then I spot the familiar shape of Samira's car parked in front. I force my feet to move. The door opens with a soft creak as I step inside. The lights flicker on, and I see her sitting at her desk, a folder in front of her. She doesn't look up at first, but I feel the weight of her gaze before she speaks. You shouldn't have come, she says quietly, her voice edged with something I can't quite place. What's going on? I ask, my voice more frantic now. What did you find? She slides the folder across the table, her hand shaking slightly. When I open it, my breath catches. There, in bold type, are emails between Nolan and Caroline, dated just days after my father's death. The contents are chilling. Everything's set. We move on the will tomorrow. Lila won't know what hit her. I close the folder, quickly, my mind spinning. Nolan and Caroline weren't just colluding, they were planning this. Every single step. From my father's death, to the will, to the betrayal. How long has this been going on? I whisper, barely able to form the words. I don't know, Lila, but I think they've been preparing for this for years. The floor beneath me feels like it's tilting. My vision blurs, and I struggle to stay grounded. The truth is darker than I imagined. This wasn't a fight over money. This was something much more sinister. An attack on everything my father built, and they were using me as their pawn. We have to stop them, I say, my voice shaking but resolute. She nods, but there's a look in her eyes that makes my stomach twist. It's not just Caroline, Lila. It's bigger than that. We're not the only ones in this fight. I feel my heartbeat quicken. I don't know who else is involved, but I know one thing for sure. The stakes have just gotten higher. I turn to leave, but something feels off. The hairs on the back of my neck stand up. It's like I'm being watched. The feeling crawls up my spine, sharp and unyielding. I step outside, my eyes scanning the street, the air thick with the weight of the unknown. And then a car pulls up, a black SUV. I don't recognize it. A door opens. I freeze. I'm not alone anymore. I don't trust myself these days. Every move feels like I'm a step away from losing everything. The rain hasn't stopped since I left Samira's office. Its steady patter against the windows mirroring the way my thoughts keep hammering at me. I'm driving in circles, trying to keep my head clear, but it's getting harder. I can almost feel Caroline's eyes on me, burning through the back of my skull, even though I know she's miles away. I thought I was prepared for everything. I thought I had the upper hand with the documents Samira found, but this is something else. Nolan Brooks, the name, keeps echoing in my head. It wasn't just Caroline I was up against. The truth is worse than I could have imagined. My father trusted him. Caroline trusted him. But who is Nolan really? And how deep does this betrayal go? You always see the best in people, my father used to say. It's what makes you weak. I used to roll my eyes when he said it, but now I see what he meant. Trust is a double-edged sword. The phone buzzes in my pocket, snapping me out of my thoughts. I glance down. It's Henry. Lila, he says, his voice tense. We need to talk. It's about the estate. I've seen something you need to know. My grip tightens on the wheel. What is it? I can't explain over the phone. Meet me at the office. Now. I don't hesitate. Every instinct tells me something's coming. I don't know what, but it feels like the ground is shifting beneath me, and I'm running out of time. I park outside the office building, the familiar lights flickering on and off. There's something off about this place tonight, something that makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. The building is eerily quiet, not a soul in sight. I make my way to the door, my steps echoing in the empty hallway. Henry's office door is ajar, but the lights are off inside. I push the door open, and the moment I step in, I freeze. The room is darker than I expected, and the desk is covered with paperwork. But it's not just paperwork. There's a stack of files, all marked with the same name, Nolan Brooks. I don't understand. What the hell is going on? Henry sits at his desk, his hands pressed against his forehead, as if the weight of everything is too much to bear. He doesn't look up when I enter. Henry. I call out, my voice barely above a whisper. His head snaps up, and for a second, I see something in his eyes that stops me cold fear. Lila, you don't understand, he starts, his voice shaky. We're in way over our heads. I close the door behind me, feeling the walls close in. What's going on? What is all this? He leans forward, running a hand through his hair. The estate's not just about money. It's about control. Caroline's been planning this for years, but Nolan's the one pulling the strings. What do you mean? He pushes a file toward me. It's a series of emails heavily redacted, but the names jump out at me. Caroline, Nolan, my father. It's all there. They've been moving money behind your back, Henry says, his voice tight. Not just from the estate, but from your father's other investments. They've been laundering money for months. You're not just fighting Caroline. You're fighting a network of people who have been lying to you for years. I feel like I've been punched in the gut. The room spins. My father. I thought I knew him. I thought I knew everything. This isn't just about the inheritance, Lila, Henry continues, his eyes meeting mine. It's bigger than that. Your father knew something was off. He suspected Nolan, but he couldn't prove it. That's why he set up a clause in the will. An ironclad clause that would protect you from all this. He knew Caroline would try something. My heart races. What clause? Henry doesn't answer immediately. He stands up and walks to the filing cabinet, pulling out a thick folder. He flips through it and pulls out a document, sliding it across the desk toward me. I stare at it. The clause is written clearly in bold black letters. If Caroline attempts to take control of the estate or manipulate the inheritance, the entire fortune is to be handed over to Lila Archer. The clause was meant to keep Caroline in check, Henry explains. But here's the thing, Nolan and Caroline thought they could bypass it. They thought they could play you. I stare at the paper in disbelief. So this whole thing, this wasn't just about money. They were going to destroy everything my father built and leave me with nothing. Exactly, Henry says. And now that you've got the upper hand, they'll stop at nothing to take you down. I pick up the document, my fingers trembling. The weight of it is unbearable. The truth is finally in my hands, but it feels like the floor beneath me is crumbling. Caroline, Nolan, they've been playing me. They've been playing everyone. And now, I'm the one caught in the middle with no one to trust. You're not safe, Lila, Henry adds, his voice low. They'll come for you. You need to be prepared. I nod, the weight of his words sinking in. It's not just the inheritance. It's my life they want to take from me. The room feels smaller now, suffocating. I know what I have to do. I can't run from this. I can't hide. I stand up, taking a deep breath. I'll fight back. You have to, Henry says. But be careful. They've planned every move, and they're not done yet. The city outside feels colder than it did an hour ago. The rain has stopped, but the air is thick, and I can't shake the feeling that I'm being watched. I turn the corner toward my car, my eyes scanning the streets. My heart skips a beat as I spot a figure standing across the street, watching me. I don't know who they are, but I know one thing for sure. They're not here to help me. I'm being followed, and this game just got a whole lot more dangerous. I can feel the weight of the car keys in my hand, heavy with purpose, as I head toward the parking lot. The air is thick with the tension of the past few hours, every thought spinning in my head like a tornado. Nolan Brooks, Caroline, my father's estate. I can't breathe. I can't think straight. The city feels suffocating tonight. The streets are slick with rain, and the neon lights of the bar across the street cut through the mist like broken shards of glass. I've been running on fumes, on anger and on fear, but something deep inside tells me I'm not prepared for what's coming next. I slip into my car and start the engine. The hum of the motor is strangely soothing, grounding me in this moment. The world outside doesn't matter. Not yet. I've got one goal in mind. Find Nolan Brooks. I need answers, and I need them now. My hands grip the wheel tightly, knuckles white as I pull into traffic. The streets blur in my peripheral vision, the lights from passing cars reflecting off the wet pavement like the fragmented pieces of my life. Each turn I make feels like I'm slipping further into a web, one that I can't see clearly but can feel tightening with every passing second. You never know who you're really dealing with until it's too late, my father used to say. His voice comes back to me now, sharp and clear, a warning I never took seriously. I wish I had. It's nearly midnight by the time I pull into the parking garage of the building where Nolan's office is located. The place is silent, almost too quiet. The fluorescent lights flicker overhead as I step out of the car, the echo of my footsteps sharp and deliberate. I'm not sure what I expect when I get there. I'm not even sure what I'm going to say. But the nagging feeling in my gut tells me that whatever happens next will change everything. I approach the building's entrance, the door creaking as I push it open. The lobby is dimly lit, the air heavy with the scent of stale coffee and old books. It feels like a place that has been abandoned for years. The receptionist's desk is empty, the chair tilted back as if whoever was here had left in a hurry. A single light is on in the back office, the glow casting long shadows across the floor. I hesitate for a moment, then walk toward it. My heart pounds in my chest with every step. I can hear my own breath, steady but quick, the anticipation of confrontation making my nerves buzz. I knock. No answer. I knock again. Still nothing. I push the door open. Slowly, the hinges groaning in protest. Inside, the office is dark except for the lone desk lamp, casting an eerie glow across the room. The walls are lined with shelves full of legal documents and files. Everything looks in place, like no one has touched it in weeks. But I know better now. This is just another facade. I walk toward the desk, but then I freeze. On the desk is a file, clearly marked with my name. I hesitate, my fingers brushing the top of the folder. But something tells me to keep my distance. A voice cuts through the silence. Looking for something, Miss Archer? I spin around. Nolan stands in the doorway, his figure dark against the faint light behind him. His eyes are cold, calculating. He's wearing a suit, but there's something off about the way he stands. Like he's always ready to move, always calculating the next step. What do you want? I ask, my voice steady, though every muscle in my body is screaming to run. Not what you think, Lila, he says with a smirk, stepping into the room. You and I both know this isn't about money anymore. My pulse quickens. I don't know what you're talking about, I say, but my voice wavers just enough for him to notice. Come on, he sneers, walking toward me. Don't play coy. You've seen the papers. You know what's at stake. I stand my ground, refusing to show any weakness. You're trying to take everything from me. And for what? so you can keep your little empire intact. He laughs, the sound hollow. It's not personal, Lila. It's business. And you, he pauses, his eyes narrowing. You're in my way. Suddenly, there's a noise behind me, and I spin around, heart racing. The door slams shut, and I hear the unmistakable sound of a lock turning. You really should have stayed out of it, Nolan says, his voice low, almost affectionate. But now you're in too deep. There's no turning back. I take a step back, my breath catching in my throat. What do you want from me? Nolan's eyes gleam. Simple. I need you to walk away. Walk away, and I'll let you keep your life. But if you don't... His words hang in the air like a threat, heavy and suffocating. I'm not scared of you, I say, though my voice betrays me, trembling with a mixture of fear and defiance. Nolan steps closer, his smile widening. You should be, because I'm not the only one who's been pulling strings. A chill runs down my spine. What are you talking about? He leans in, his breath warm against my ear. There's someone else. Someone who's been watching you. Someone closer than you think. I pull away, my mind racing. Who? Before I can ask again, the door behind me bursts open, and I turn just in time to see two figures rush into the room. My heart stops. It's Caroline, and she's not alone. The world tilts as everything I thought I knew crumbles before my eyes. Caroline's face is twisted in a grin, one I've never seen before. She's not just my sister anymore. She's my enemy. Surprise, Lila? Caroline says, her voice dripping with malice. You should have known better. Family isn't always what it seems. Nolan steps back, a satisfied smile playing on his lips. My whole world just shattered. The darkness outside feels like a mirror to the chaos I've been living through for the past weeks. Every moment has led me here, to the edge of everything I thought I knew. Caroline, Nolan, the lies, they all circle around me, closing in like vultures waiting to pick apart what's left. You think you're going to win? Nolan's voice echoes in my mind. You're in my way. I hear those words over and over again as if they were meant to drown me. I stand in front of the courthouse, rain falling in torrents, mixing with the headlights from the cars parked outside. It's strange, this moment of stillness before the storm. It's my turn now, and this time I won't let anyone take it from me. The legal battle is nearly over. Caroline's manipulation, Nolan's schemes, they've all been exposed. But what they didn't count on was my father's foresight, the clause in the will that no one expected to find. It was always meant to be a safeguard, a final gift from a father who knew the world could be cruel. I thought I was alone in this fight, but the truth is, I've always had what I needed. All I had to do was recognize it. And now, standing here in the cold night, I realize what that is, my strength. The sound of footsteps draws me back to reality. I look up to see Henry approaching, his expression grim. He doesn't need to say anything. I can tell by the look in his eyes that this is it. This is the end of the line. Are you ready? He asks, his voice steady, despite the weight of the situation. I nod, swallowing the lump in my throat. I don't have a choice anymore. Inside the courtroom, the air is thick with tension. Caroline is seated across from me, her eyes narrowed, her lips pressed into a tight line. She knows the game is over, but she's still trying to hold on to the illusion of control. Nolan is sitting beside her, his gaze calculating, watching every movement I make. I can feel their eyes on me as I step forward, the weight of the evidence I'm about to present heavy in my hands. I glance at the judge, who gives me a nod, signaling that it's my turn to speak. The moment I open the folder, I see Caroline flinch. It's the slightest movement, but it's enough. The truth is there in black and white. A series of forged signatures, illegal transactions, and emails detailing the conspiracy between Caroline and Nolan to strip me of everything my father left behind. I don't know why you thought you could get away with this. I begin, my voice clear and unwavering. But today it ends. As I speak, the room grows silent. The words leave my mouth, but the room feels suspended in time. I'm not just talking about the estate anymore. This is about reclaiming everything they tried to take from me. My life, my future, my sanity. You lied to me, Caroline. I continue, locking eyes with my sister. But what you didn't count on was me finding the truth. You thought I was weak. You thought I wouldn't fight back. But I'm not the person you thought I was. And now the truth is out. The judge looks over the documents, his face unreadable. I hold my breath, waiting for the final verdict. Then, the judge's voice rings out, sharp and clear. Based on the evidence presented, I have no choice but to rule in favor of Ms. Archer. Caroline, you are hereby stripped of all claims to the estate. You will also be subject to criminal investigation for fraud and conspiracy. The words hit Caroline like a slap to the face. Her expression twists into one of pure rage, but there's no more fight in her. The walls are closing in, and there's nothing she can do to stop it. Nolan stands, his hands raised in surrender. This isn't over, he says, his voice trembling slightly. You can't just walk away from this. I turn to face him, my eyes burning with the fire of all the betrayals, all the lies. I'm not walking away from anything. This was never about money for me. It was about truth, and you can't take that from me. The courtroom is still, the gavel echoing in the silence as the final judgment is passed. Caroline is led away by the officers, her head held low, defeated. Nolan follows, his shoulders hunched in resignation. But I don't watch them as they leave. Instead, I turn to Henry, who's standing by my side. For the first time in what feels like forever, I feel the weight lifting from my chest. This battle is over. You did it, Henry says quietly, his eyes filled with something more than just professional pride, something that looks like admiration. I shake my head, the corners of my mouth lifting into a small smile. No, Henry, we did it. I look back toward the courthouse steps, the dark sky above starting to clear. The rain has stopped, and the first glimmer of sunlight is breaking through the clouds, casting a soft glow on the stone steps. In that moment, I realize what I've learned through all of this. The world doesn't owe us anything. The truth doesn't always come easy, and trust can be shattered in an instant. But in the end, it's not the betrayals or the pain that defines us. It's the strength to rise again. I may have lost a lot along the way, but I gained something much more valuable, the power to stand up for myself. As I step out into the light, I take a deep breath, feeling the weight of everything finally lifting. The storm is over, and the future is mine to reclaim. We're never as alone as we think we are. Sometimes we just need to remember that the strength to fight has always been inside of us. And for the first time in a long time, I'm finally free.